It's live in 25 minutes, seconds.
Hello, humans. Welcome to the Harmony and Humanity podcast, where we're all about highlighting the common ground we all share, inspiring conversations that lead to real world harmony and understanding. I am Amethyst Herrick, and my other two hosts here are Jasmine Vine. Hi, Jasmine. Hi. Oh, no, you're not hearing us? And Dr. Lino Martinez. Hi,
Yes,
Lino.
hello.
Do you hear us,
Hello.
Jasmine? Oh, you do. Okay, good.
Yes, sorry, I muted my computer for 1 second because it was coming through on YouTube and I didn't want it to double up.
Oh,
So
gotcha,
Oh,
gotcha.
just at the wrong second.
So we are three transgender humans combining science, spirituality, and lived experience with all with the purpose of showing that we have much more in common than what separates us. So in today's live stream, we love your input first of all, but we also decided we were going to talk about what it's going to take to remain safe if you are in the queer community here in the United States, especially considering that we just had an inauguration today of somebody who's not remarkably friendly to the LGBTQ community. So we will happily answer all of your questions. We're going to be talking to each other. And if you're joining us live, please leave some questions in there. We'd love to make this interactive. And of course, if you're catching this on replay, we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. So let us go ahead and move on to our topic today. So, the inauguration. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, Jasmine, at least you're in Australia.
Yeah, has it already happened? Because I don't even know. It's 11 a.m. here.
Yeah, so it would be in Washington, D.C., right? Because I guess so.
Yeah.
It should be over by now, 7 p.m. in Washington, D.C. So, but there's no doubt that some of us are a little frightened. I understand one of the first executive orders. I heard that Trump has about 200 executive orders that he's already signed, ready to go into effect. 200.
Oh.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
And of course, the big one is that there are only two genders, words that pertain to sex, according to Trump. So male and female, only two genders. So
I heard that, yeah.
I want to ask, I mean, let's just start, Lino, do you have anything that you plan to do just to stay safe?
I mean, honestly, I just really want to be as joyful and positive as I can about my community and about who I am and the energy that I'm bringing to not only my life but those around me. And I feel that that's the safest thing that I can do, because if I go down the rabbit hole of feeling unsafe, then that's just going to create a spiral of a domino effect of just unfeeling safe, and then I'm going to start to not feel safe in all other areas and aspects of my life, and I don't want to invite that.
Yeah.
And so when he was president last time and things felt corrupt in the beginning, ultimately I was okay. And so ultimately I'm going to keep that same mentality that I'm going to be okay. I can't say the same for everybody else on our shoes, but if I can at least be a window of opportunity for if somebody's seeking some type of positivity or a way to feel better, I mean, they can definitely reach out to me as well, and just find ways to really keep loving themselves and motivating themselves and knowing that this is not the end of the world, although it can seem like that for some people.
Yeah. Does it seem different this time around?
I mean, that's a really good question. I think before, maybe there was more because the pandemic was involved. It was like, oh, well, we're all closed doors and we can't do anything anyway type mentality. But now we're not behind closed doors and we are able to do more.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there's a lot of fear that people were going backwards, in which I do see we are. But I'm also seeing that a lot of people are coming closer together this time around than they did last time. So if I can compare the two, I'm feeling that a lot of people, minority groups, when I say people, are coming closer together than we did even before.
Oh, wow. That would be great. I think that would
be
awesome.
Right?
Yeah. I think that would be sweet. It does feel...
what we were talking about last week, coming together under shared hardships.
Yeah. It does seem different though from last time, because I kind of recall last time. I mean, last time I thought Trump had. I mean, he wasn't exactly like a huge supporter, but I don't remember last time Trump being like really wanting to take down the queer community. I kind of want to say that he even said he was a friend, like an LGBTQ ally. I mean, this was 8 years ago, and certainly things can change in 8 years, but like that's a significant flip flop, you know?
It is. Yeah.
I've definitely wondered about that. Like, I've seen videos where people are saying Trump hasn't always been anti-LGBTQIA plus, and he's like
Right.
compilation of videos of him like saying, "Oh, there was a Miss, oh, I forget what it was, but like the pageant competitions, Miss something or other."
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Like a Miss
and Trump
America
was
or a Miss Universe, you
yeah,
mean?
that kind of thing.
Okay.
And Trump was being asked, this person was born as a male. Do you think that she should be able to compete in the women's yada yada? And he
Mm,
was like, I don't see why not, why she can't compete. That and
really?
like was supportive of that. Yeah. So it is a pretty major flip flop. And I do wonder how much of it is just catering to the crap that people want to hear.
I think a lot. I
Mm,
mean, I mean that's sort of become what politics is these days, right? I mean,
yeah. It's showmanship.
yes, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It's showmanship, which is deplorable, admittedly.
Mhm.
That our government should just be a bunch of showmanship, but yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know what else we would do on that. But I mean, Jasmine, have you ever existed in a like a an environment like this where it's not just not just unsupportive, but I think I would call it like outwardly hostile
Mm.
to our community, to particular, I
I
mean, to all
wouldn't
queer
say so.
communities, but no.
Not in Australia. Like, I live in the state that is probably the most backwards state in the country,
Mm,
and it's still pretty good. Like, we don't have, for instance, most of the rest of the country have all passed laws for being able to change gender markers and birth certificates without
mm,
undergoing genital reconstruction.
sure.
And our state has only just passed that. It comes into effect in July, 1st of July.
Wow.
So, yeah, the rest of the country has all passed that. I think we were the only ones that hadn't. And in terms of the leadership, they're very muted. Like, they honestly don't show massive opinions. They're a lot more, what's the word, measured in how they speak and in what they share.
Mm,
So, yeah, I haven't really seen that. I haven't had like a leader who's in charge who is being outwardly transphobic or, racist or any of that. Like, there are some within the government, like within cabinet and whatever, they're laughing stocks. We all laugh at them.
really? Wait, like how?
Yes. Well, like Pauline Hanson, for example, have you seen
Okay.
any like memes or videos or whatnot about her? No.
No, I'm sorry.
No, me neither. Sorry.
Well, I mean, she did this speech about immigration, immigrants, and someone made a
Okay.
video of her going, "I don't like it when they blah 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 blah," and turned it into this meme that went viral. I was like, I feel like if Trump was an Australian politician, that's what would happen to him. He
Sure.
would be like a meme and a laughing stock, and no one would take him seriously. They'd be like, why is he still there? Oh, yeah, he's got a couple of followers over here. I don't understand
So
how in America that's not the case.
Well, there are
it
plenty of
kind of
memes and
is. Yeah,
plenty
Oh,
right.
plenty
yeah,
of
that's true.
laughing. I mean stuff
Yeah,
that cracks me up. I mean
True.
on social media, actually that does readily exist. Yes.
Yeah,
for sure.
that is true.
I mean, though, it's a good
Hmm.
point. I mean, I wish, for what it's worth, though, I kind of wish that all of our politicians were a bit more muted. I
Hmm.
mean, I wish they'd shut up occasionally, but, crazy that they don't.
The thing with that, though, is the authenticity doesn't come through. For those people, we've got no idea who they are. Like, if I think of the Prime Minister currently, if I can even remember who they are, like what their name is, it's that, like, that's how disconnected it is.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have a clue who they are or what they stand for or anything like that. And I
Like there
think
are
that's
elections,
the
right? I
case.
mean, open
Yeah.
elections. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they are. And we're forced to participate in it. It's not an optional thing like
Oh,
over there.
really? Oh, wow.
Yes, we get massive fines if we don't participate.
Wait, you get
No.
fined? Holy
Yeah,
cats. I
yeah.
kind of like that idea, actually, for what
I
it's
kind
worth.
of think that's how it should be, honestly. But
Yeah.
anyway. But yeah, that authenticity doesn't shine through. And that's one of the things that I heard being said over and over again about Trump was that he's an asshole and he shows that he's an asshole. Like he's
Yeah.
very open and
So
whatnot.
maybe he's being authentic with who he is,
Yeah,
and maybe that's what people like.
Right. Right.
that's
Could be.
honestly when the election happened and it went the way that it did, I was racking my brain for days going like, how? How the hell?
Yeah,
And I was watching videos, I was watching conservatives, I was watching liberals, I was watching all the like different perspectives. And the only thing that I could find was with Kamala, people felt like they didn't know who she was.
Mm,
They felt like there was this kind of poised presentation or this poised thing that was put forward, and they didn't know what she really thought. She had like the
sure.
political speak and, can go around in circles and answer things in roundabout ways. Whereas Trump's like, them transgenders, fuck them. It's
yeah,
like, what the hell?
right.
So
Yeah.
that's the only
That's
thing that I
pretty
can
close.
think
Yeah.
is that he really does say what's on his mind without any apology for what he says.
Yeah.
And I do like that. That's one thing that I do think other politicians could have more of because we're
Yeah.
moving into that era where authenticity is very important.
But I mean, and going back to Kamala Harris, it's a little more challenging being a woman, as you
Oh,
both know
100%.
now, to be able to be outspoken that way. So I mean, she's
Mm,
definitely it's just tougher. It's a lot tougher for
If
her.
she
And
did exactly what Trump did, she would be called a bitch, bossy, yada,
it's
yada, and
yep,
she'd be
well,
shut down and not
yeah,
yes.
listened to.
Right. Right.
right, right.
We
Yeah.
have a comment from Valentina, which, by the way, hi
Hi,
Valentina.
Valentina.
Hello, hello,
Um,
Valentina.
and the comment says he's a friend to anyone when it suits him. It's so different now. He has so
Mm,
much money
yeah.
surrounding him with the tech companies. He is hypocrisy. See, now this is great. Valentina
Yeah.
brings up that Trump used to be Democrat. He was used to be great
Yep.
friends with the Clintons. I mean, supported
Mm.
both of their campaigns until he was running against Hillary. But there was there was a quote I read. I'm trying to remember who it was. It was a political commentator though, who said that Trump will say, gosh, how was it put? He will say whatever it takes to get the greatest applause from the current audience, I
Yeah.
think is how it went. And I think that's entirely accurate. Because, I mean, it's like, why, so many things he says, they come in and then they go out. And then you go, did that mean something? What are you talking about? So, I mean, I think you're right, Valentina. I don't think he has exactly an agenda. I think he has the desire for applause.
Hmm.
And I
Yeah.
hate to think of it like that, but I think that's all we got. So,
And you know what? That is different from authenticity. Like he says what's
oh,
on
for
his
sure.
mind, yeah, but it is, I would argue that it is just as catered to the audience as any politician. It
Oh, yeah.
is like, what's the word when you're, I don't know, like being a chameleon?
I think just hypocrite. It's just
Yeah,
hypocrisy. How come I can't come up with a noun for that? The adjective for that.
hypocriticalness.
Hypocritical. There we go. Hypocritical.
Hypocritical.
Jesus.
Oh,
Well done. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Although, Lino, you also brought up, or no, I'm sorry, Jasmine, you did, that you had somebody who'd spoken about immigrants. I
yeah.
mean, the idea that in the United States we should be like bitching and moaning about immigrants, because like that's all of us, folks.
Mhm.
It's all of us, almost all of us.
Yeah.
Unless you're a
Right.
Native American,
Yeah. Right.
or Central American. I mean, it's ridiculous. So there was something, and it was I don't know the truth or falsehood of this, so I'm just going to throw this out here, and maybe somebody will correct me, maybe not. But one of the executive orders, from what I understand, would remove automatic citizenship if the two parents were not citizens when the child was born. Hopefully, I represented that all right. Did that come across? The
Yeah.
idea being that if there are some people who, this is the conservative claim, that they come to the United States, they immediately have a baby so that they can stay because the baby's a citizen. And then they can start claiming, all the things that conservatives say, all the great health care that we have in the United States and all of the great phenomenal benefits that you get here in the United States being undocumented. So what that would do, no joke, my wife would lose her citizenship. Neither of her parents was a citizen when she was born. So my wife's lived here for, I'm not going to tell you how old she is, but that would imply that she should lose her citizenship. Like, I don't even think this guy's thinking very clearly in terms of like what sort of policies he should even consider. So I don't even think it's the transgender community that needs to worry about just the transgender community that needs to worry. Certainly anybody who has emigrated from another country, and I think actually like just about any minority should be concerned too.
Exactly. Yes.
Probably women.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, so I think we framed a problem. What do we do to
I
stay
think all of
safe?
us want to know what the problem is.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think there was a whole lot necessary to frame that. But like, what do we do? Because I mean, I have a thought. Do you?
Yeah.
Want
Well,
me?
how do you
Can I
feel
go
about it,
first?
Amethysta?
So the main thing here, like you can sign executive orders all day long, but executive orders come through the executive branch. They don't go through the legislative branch. So it's not truly law. I mean, it's something that you can throw out there, but they can be challenged very easily because it wasn't something that went through the entire legislative process. It's something that, some schmo said, well, I'm just going to sign my name at the bottom of this and it's going to be truth. So all of the 200 executive orders that Trump apparently has signed can be challenged and will be challenged. I mean, if nothing else, an attorney that I know that I was talking to, the one who had been the defense attorney in the criminal case against Kevin Brucey, the transgender man, I brought up that there was an executive order that was going to change the meaning of gender, and she said that's not even. There was proposition, I think it was proposition 1 in New York in 2024, turned gender identity into a protected class, like it would be under Title IX of the Civil Rights Act, along with race and country of origin, religion, all of that. So it would immediately be challenged. So there are challenges that could be had. All of these, in order to make them truly law of the land, would take time. So I guess what I was going to say, this isn't exactly staying safe, but at the very least, like many of these things just isn't going to stick. Like it's almost certain that many of these things aren't going to stick. That Trump can talk all he wants, and as Valentina has put it, he's pandering. He can talk all he wants, but there is a distinction between having a plan and talking, and then executing and actually having it like
Right.
work. So there's a lot of time, in all of this. All of these things will take time and effort and the other two branches in order actually to make it, law of the land. So
I want to pick up
thoughts?
on one thing that you just said there. You
Yeah.
said, I don't know if this is necessarily safety. It absolutely is, because part of psychological safety is we need to break down the myths and the misconceptions, because
Okay.
people are thinking he's going to come in and trans people are now illegal and he just signs on a piece of paper
Right.
and there you go, it's done. That's not how it works.
Right.
That is
No.
not the level of danger that people are in.
True.
But
True.
it can feel like that because he says it on the first day, I'm going to sign
Mm-hmm.
this and blah, blah. He's bullshitting. He's pandering, just like Valentina said.
He
He
is. He
can't
is.
even do that.
Right. Right.
But that does
Now,
set people, especially in the minority groups, it does set them in a state of panic
100%.
and not feeling safe.
yeah.
And if your
Absolutely.
foundation is, slipped off your feet, then
Mm,
where is that going to lead people besides feeling helpless and homeless?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's why we need to talk about this and like what's the realistic thing, because he says a lot of stuff. We know he says a lot of stuff. He's got to do 500 million things on the first day, but he's not going to.
Truth.
We know that because we
Yeah.
have common sense.
Right. Right.
But
So,
it does scare people. It's designed to scare people and it
right.
works.
Right. Right.
Mm.
Valentina asks a very valid question. Will Melania also be deported with her
Yeah.
anchor baby as well? Right? I mean,
Right.
it's a good question. So
Mm.
I want to, this is, I don't know if this is an elephant in the room sort of thing. I think all three of us are pretty much finished with transition, right? Like my social, my medical, I'm done. Lino?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, but it also, I mean, would any of his rules or laws take anything in put anything in effect as far as like my getting my
Mm.
supplies for my like testosterone or needles or anything like that?
It's a
I don't
good
really worry
question.
about it because I don't really feel that it's gonna go that far. I don't feel. But then again, I never
Right.
thought he'd be president.
Mm.
True. The reason why I bring that up though, because I mean I know that there have been and I believe they're younger people. I don't know off the top of my head how old these people are, but people who have said, I just got my passport that says F on it. You know, what the hell? Is it going to get rolled back? And I don't know if that's true. I mean, I sort of doubt it because, you had to get investigated. There had to be a court order that changes your name and your gender marker so that you can take that to the Social Security office so that that can get changed so that you can
I
go and
really
get a
don't think they're
passport
gonna change passports.
or their birth certificates because my birth certificate is changed as well. So I don't I don't know if there's anything we can do or he can do. That being said, like do we three have less concern because we're less affected by it, the chances of being affected by it? Because I mean I actually have, for what it's worth, 6 months worth of estrogen sitting in my refrigerator right now because
Mm.
I'm not completely sure that it isn't
Yeah.
going to be affected. So are we in a more privileged position? I mean, this is
I mean, we
an
could be
interesting
definitely
question.
in a more privileged
Mm.
position, but right now, actually, right when you mentioned birth certificate, when I transitioned and I did everything legally, let's see, it's been 11 years for me, and I transitioned within 3 years legally. So we're looking at about 8 years ago. Back then, I wasn't able to change my birth certificate. I could change everything
Oh,
else. I could
oh
change
wow.
everything else, my passport, my driver's license, my name, but my birth
Yeah,
certificate itself back then wasn't a choice. It needed to stay that
interesting.
way, and it's still that way.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah. Hmm.
I don't know
That's
then.
right.
I don't know what that would mean. So
Mm.
Valentina makes an interesting point. So she says, unfortunately, Trump has enough congressional support to sign just about anything into law. There is a slim majority, both in the Senate and the House, and of course a majority in the Supreme Court. But that's at the federal level, first of all. So slim majorities. I already know
Mm.
there are many conservatives who want to distance themselves from Trump. And I kind of feel that there isn't going to be a really big unified front on the conservative side. This is a guess. I'm guessing. I have no idea. But many
Unless
people
they all
have
take
distanced themselves.
bribes that aren't bribes.
Well, this is right.
Mm.
Or there was, how Hitler gained all of his power, he sent his brown shirts, of course, to people's houses and said, "Did you know that you were going to support Hitler?" And they said, "No, he's rancid, baby." And they went, "No, no, 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 no. Did you know, because of your wife and kids, that you were going to support Hitler?" And they went, "Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I was totally going to support Hitler." So, I mean, will there be some sort of strong arming in the back? I don't know. I don't know.
Would not be
So,
surprising, unfortunately.
so I don't know if it's enough congressional support. And the other thing too, I'm not a an expert at constitutional law, but the federal laws cannot override state laws. That's part of how it works. That the states have the ability to override federal laws, but not the opposite. And that's why Roe
I
versus
did
Wade
not
was.
know that.
Yeah.
What?
Well, that's why Roe versus Wade was only a Supreme Court decision. It was never a federal law, because they would end up leaving it up to the states. There was a legal precedent, and that's all that the federal level could do. So when Trump makes an executive, when for that matter, I mean, it could go both directions, because of course the United States versus Scarametti Tennessee law created Tennessee created a law that discriminated specifically against transgender people. And so now the Supreme Court is deliberating that. I'm sure they're hard at work at it, but they are deliberating that particular law because it would go against what is a federal law, which is the 14th Amendment to the Constitution, and then the Civil Rights Act of 1964. So anyway, sorry, that was my legal lecture for the night. Yeah, there are a lot of checks and balances put together in this system, a lot of them. So
You know what I don't understand is how there are people in the LGBTQIA plus community that support this. That's what I don't understand. I don't understand it.
you mean people who could have voted for Trump?
Right.
Do you know any?
Australians also don't understand it.
I personally don't, but I've seen, for example, walking in my neighborhood not so long ago, I'll see like a rainbow flag or the diversity flag with like Trump
Yeah.
flags, and I'm like, what?
Mm.
Wow.
I just walk. Okay. It's just some things where I just don't understand what
Yeah.
they're. I don't get it, and so I won't.
Yeah.
Mm.
Then on that note, can I ask you a question, Lino? Because after the election, when I heard that Trump had won, all of a sudden I was afraid of like people I knew had voted for Trump, because I knew ultimately they had voted against me. And I have, a friend of mine, Oceana Tepfenhart, wrote an article in which they said that they're going to cut all ties with people who would have voted for Trump, because those people voted against them, against Oceana. And if you're going to vote to remove somebody's rights, Oceana was like, "I'm not going to spend time with you. I'm not going to waste time on you," is maybe the better way to put it.
Sure.
So have you been like scared at all? What do you feel, Lino?
I don't feel scared. Honestly, I don't. I just I mostly just have more compassion towards people for not understanding what
Mm,
what I guess the true vibration of like loving themselves and loving other people, because true compassion has no judgment, no division. True love has no I mean it doesn't separate. And
yeah.
so I feel like people are almost going backwards because they're feeling that they're being promised something else that's going to stay within the promised wish and not being
Mm,
fulfilled. And I mean, there's family members, in my family members that voted for Trump, and yet they love me and send me Christmas cards, So I don't. It's hypocritical, but also it's like a lot of these people are sticking to one thing, like, well, he's making the economy better, and therefore that's why I'm voting for him. I'm like, whoa, what?
sure. But
All
can you
right.
trust them then? Is that love? Do they really love you if they will vote for the economy over you?
Well, I can't really feel that it's a judgment against me specifically, if
Okay.
especially if people are voting and doing things out of ignorance and fear, because that's really what it is. And most of it, the underlying factor is fear. So
Yeah.
if they're really basing their decisions off fear, then it's not has nothing to do with me. It has to do with their own personal core beliefs.
That was a good reframing. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Because I've been scared to
That
death.
is a beautiful description there, because so
Yeah.
many people are angry. They're angry at the family. They're cutting people off. They're saying, "No, like you clearly don't love me if you're going to vote for someone who does this." And Lino, I think it's a fantastic reframe to look at it as though it's nothing to do with you, because it isn't. Like they're not fully informed. If they're acting out of fear, they're making that decision for themselves in some way or another.
Exactly.
What would you say to those people who are really angry and cutting people off and like disowning people over this?
People that are really angry and disowning people, I mean, just go back to your own personal values and strengthen that part of yourself, because anger is never the answer to anything. Anger doesn't bring people together. It's going to drive people apart. And I mean, you can never, anger will never win. Love always wins at the end, no matter what. Whether it takes 10, 15, 20, 30 years, or even just 6 months, or even just tomorrow. Love is the dominating force because it's the what created us. And the only thing that can keep us together is creation, not destruction. I mean, at the end, even if we all get destroyed, guess what? The earth is still going to be reborn again and create new humans, and let's do this all over again to get it right, you know.
Right.
So I mean, I tend to just really tell people, if I can, if they were to ask me this, to just really stick to your own personal values and what makes you blossom in your own within your own auric field.
Mhm.
Keep shining bright, and shine
Yeah.
even brighter, if anything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because I'll admit, I'm one of those people who's angry and kind of wanted to cut people off, and I keep on. I've written in my journal several times now where I say, is it ethical? I mean, I actually want to use the word ethical there. Like, is it ethical for me to punish to punish the followers for the sins of the politician? And part of me goes, yeah, yeah, that is. I mean, I understand if you're acting out of fear. I totally do. You know, because all of us have fear going on here. Um, and should your I don't know, should one person's fear lead to somebody else's demise? I would still say we need to have more of a holistic view on things, at least with our families. You know, I don't know. I'm upset that I have family members who would have voted for Trump, because it's like, you have voted against me, you have voted against, you know, my wife, you have voted against our whole family, our whole existence. And I don't know, does that feel like a family anymore? So I keep going back and forth. You know, I keep on
I can see
thinking,
that. I mean, I can definitely feel that,
yeah,
and why it would feel important to you or to anybody feeling that way, to really stand
yeah,
your ground and protect yourself, and but in a way that, you know, that's also fighting back, you know. And if that's your value, then I would say stick to what's valuable to you. If that's what feels good for you, then do what feels good for you. You're not doing it to intentionally hurt people. You're doing it to protect yourself at this point.
true, true. Let me actually read a couple of comments from Valentina again.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for all of this interaction, Valentina, by the way. So she brings up, we also mostly live in pretty liberal areas, that we have privilege. There's a lot of privilege that at least the four of us, you know, are able to, to claim. So she says that those who feel empowered by Trump in the red states are more of a threat to minorities in the LGBTQ community. Yes, I mean, are they a threat? Like if I live in California, is somebody's bigotry in Georgia a big threat to me? I mean, it means that possibly some of their politicians get elected. And so, yes, it's a threat. So I don't know. But, and then Valentina notes that she felt more politicians trying to distance themselves from Trump in his first term. This second term is so much different, as she puts it. Interesting. Do either of you have a comment on either of those two points? Because I had a question we can move on to if you want.
I did have really hold on to your question though. Don't let it go. One thing that I realized right now when we
Okay.
are
Oh,
talking about
gotcha.
what's
Sorry.
that?
Oh,
Valentina
that
makes
makes
a
a lot more sense.
clarification to say a
Oh,
threat to minorities in the LGBTQ community in those states. Great point.
Yeah.
Sorry. Thank you. Probably should have understood that.
so even in those states, I'll give you an example. About a little
Yeah.
over 2.5 years ago, I took a trip to Florida, where
Okay.
it's a red Republican state, and people, even in my family, were saying, "You don't want to go there. People don't like transgenders." I'm like, well,
No.
what are they gonna pull my pants down and be like, "You got some scars? There's something suspicious going on here." When I'm just traveling to go to Disney World, I don't think so. But I was getting it left and right from relatives. I mean, at least 5 people in my
Mm.
around my circle. You really want to go? I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go
Wow.
there, and I'm pretty damn sure that no one's gonna question me. And guess what? Nobody questioned me. So
Sure.
it's like we can't distance ourselves from even these Trump states or Republican states. Like, you still have to keep on going and moving, going forth in your life. You want to go on vacation somewhere? This is still our land. You want to see the sequoias, or you want to go to Florida or wherever? Like, go wherever you want to. Still keep living your life, and don't let this stuff close the doors on you.
Mm.
True. True. I will say it again. The three of us have completed a lot of transition tasks.
That is true, and that and
You
and you have a very, very valid point right there. You do.
Yeah.
because Lino, you
Because
pass very well.
definitely passing privilege does
Yes.
play into that a lot. I would
Yeah.
feel a lot safer than some of my friends who
Oh,
are
absolutely.
earlier on in
Yeah.
transition.
Yeah.
And I've actually even noticed that just out and about in my day-to-day life, if I'm with someone who's like really early transition and people are still misgendering them and everything,
Mm.
I feel threatened myself. I've like
Oh,
noticed this because if I'm with this person, then is that going to cue these other people to look at
that.
cues that
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
may have,
Yeah.
that
which
makes
is
sense.
really
I've gone
interesting.
through that. I've actually gone through that myself.
Mm,
But
Yeah.
this is a really super duper great valid point, Jasmine. What you're saying, and Amethyst, is the same thing that you're saying. Because I mean, the truth is, if I was still in the beginning of my transition, I probably wouldn't be going to Florida. No,
yeah,
So I mean,
True.
it definitely depends. It's privilege. It's all privilege at this point.
That there is some. Yeah, and I guess I just wanted to, to make sure that we acknowledge that. So,
yeah,
because my question was going to be, I mean, what do we do? And I don't mean like personally, like what do we do? And I know Jasmine, this may be like,
adopt all of the trans people from the red state.
there you go.
We're going to Australia.
I've
Right.
got one visiting me
Right.
tomorrow, actually, coming to for a week to look for
Oh my
houses.
gosh, do you? There you go.
Do indeed. And she's from
So,
California, so even people that aren't in red states are still really
oh
fearing
sure. Oh sure.
their
Well, I mean,
safety.
these executive orders. Yeah, I mean, I know people in Washington,
Yeah.
California, who are like, no, we're hosed. We better get the hell out of here
Mm,
before we all get really harmed. Because here we go. Actually, Valentina gave a good comment. It says it's hard to say when you're. So this is to go back really briefly to your point, Lino. It's hard to say when you're visiting as opposed to somebody who lives there. Very true.
Okay,
mm,
very
Going through
true. You got a
transition.
point there. Absolutely, that's a great point.
Yeah. Somebody who is black, somebody who is, in another minority, obviously there's a big Cuban population in parts of Florida. And what does that do? I mean, I've got to imagine Trump's not happy with that. But Valentina makes another good point here. It says we can
mm.
choose to support states or companies where their tourist dollars are spending. And I know
Yeah.
there are people who will go, nah, that's not good enough. I don't know what you do there, but
Sure.
It's an
He'll say that.
asset. I think
Hmm.
these are all really important
Oh
points.
yeah.
If
Yeah.
you know that a company is outwardly transphobic, then not supporting them is probably going to be a
Right.
good step for showing our
Right.
values with our money.
Right.
I think
Yes.
it's making me reconsider the whole meta thing that we spoke
Oh,
about
oh
last
man,
week.
we're on the
Well,
same frequency. I
I
was just thinking about Meta
Oh,
right now. Right when you said
right.
that, I was like, man.
um,
So what do I do about Meta?
I was right on the verge of saying I deleted all of my Meta accounts yesterday. So
Oh wow, you did?
I did. Deleted them from my phone. Yeah. I will
right.
tell you too, I've spent the last week where I'm like, do I, because I'll pick up my phone or something. I'm like, I've got 10 minutes. How do I kill 10 minutes? What do I do? And I'll pick it up and I'll unlock it and I'll go, ooh, I'm not going to touch Instagram. So I've like purposely tried to detox from
Mm.
both Instagram and Facebook. And I'll be like, well, what do I look at? I don't know, Blue Sky. Let me look at Blue Sky or something like that. On Friday night, I was like, well, I'll just look at TikTok. Fuck.
My
Yeah, what do you
gosh.
think about what
So
happened with
Blue
TikTok?
Sky.
Speaking of that, right?
Oh,
Oh
now that's
gosh.
actually an important bit that I want to dive into. I just want to
Yeah.
acknowledge Valentina's comment
Oh,
quickly
Do
sure.
it, yeah.
that there are a lot of red conservative
Yes.
counties in
Yes,
California,
yes.
just like Florida has some blue liberal dots.
Right, right. I
Yes.
gotta imagine
Yeah.
like Kern County. I bet you Kern County is not exactly, very blue. I don't know
Mm.
where you live, Valentina, but thank you.
But
She's given me a great
TikTok,
job. Yeah. Yeah, so TikTok.
TikTok. Now, there's a lot of comments about the TikTok situation at the moment. This
Yeah.
obviously has caused quite a stir. And I
Yes.
think it's intended to,
Yeah,
because
it's all a tactic.
yeah. Have we all seen like the comment that was put up when TikTok was deleted, like what the message
Yes.
people were
Yes.
seeing, and then the
Yeah.
other one? Yeah.
Right.
What do y'all think about that? Trump, the savior of TikTok.
Well,
That's I go ahead, Amethyst.
no, no, no. You start, Lino, because
I just feel it's all a political tactic just for him to be
it
a hero
is.
here. That's
Well,
all it is.
I'm curious. I'm
Mm.
curious how much, because for what it's worth, in case anybody cares, this is actually the first time we're streaming on TikTok. We're actually doing a live on
Oh
TikTok
yeah,
as
hi
well
TikTok.
as yeah.
I
So hi, people on
know.
TikTok. We've had almost 300 people drop in, and we got a coin.
Oh, I
There you go.
love
There you
it.
go. Yeah.
Excellent.
Right. So where was I going to say? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So I found it interesting because to go back to like the structure of the U.S. government. So Biden's in the executive branch, right? President Biden is in the executive. Sorry, was in former President Biden.
Oh.
Fuck me, really? I know. So former President Biden was in the executive branch. This law that was intended to protect the U.S. against crappy stuff like TikTok was made by the legislative branch. Biden signed that law. So it went into effect. That's why it was there. Biden then declined to enforce it, which is what his role would be, to enforce the law. So I found it interesting that Biden did not overturn the law as part of the executive branch, but Trump, before he was even inaugurated, is like, oh yeah, I'm fucking at the whole thing up. Yeah, no, 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 I'll be the savior. I'm curious, and maybe this is untrue, maybe it's true, I don't know. But I'm curious if that was a political tactic to show, look, the Democrats are willing to respect our Constitution, respect the way the law works. What Biden said is he was going to leave it to the next administration, which doesn't just mean the presidential administration, but also the entire now Congress that's there. Kind of what he said was he wasn't going to touch it because there's a process through which these things get done. And Trump completely stepped around it. He just said, oh, that's it. Look, I'm such a savior. Watch. And I wonder if Biden was like, I'm going to throw this really soft, slow lob to you here. You ready, Don? Okay, here we go. And Trump went, oh, I can hit this one easy. And then everybody went, ooh. Like constitutional people like, ooh, God, are Republicans that ready to just discard all constitutional process? I don't know if it's truth, but this is my stupid my stupid interpretation of what occurred there. So
Do we actually know how he's done it because based on the message that people are getting about, oh, it's back, thanks, Trump,
Right.
it sounds like he had spoken with the CEO or whatever of TikTok and then just said, oh, don't worry about that. Just let it go through anyway, and I'll make sure that you don't get, you
He,
know,
yeah, as far
penalized
as
for
I
it.
know, and again, I don't know all of this, but as far as I know, all he did was promise a 60 or 90 day
Mm,
delay in enforcement, and then
right.
they would come to a conclusion. So, but once again, is that something the executive branch should be doing? Because this is a
Mm,
legislative branch thing. I mean, admittedly, the executive branch would either enforce it or not. But if the point is that they're going to just overturn the law altogether, that should really
Yeah.
involve either the judicial branch or the legislative branch. The judicial branch will go, well, this was always, not a good law. Or the legislative branch should go, hey, yeah, sorry, we take back, or, we're going to
mm.
amend our own law. So I don't know. So my 2 cents.
Jasmine, what do you think happened there?
I mean, I don't really know. I don't know a whole lot around that. But
Oh,
it,
right.
to me, it just sounds like Trump said that he's not going to penalize them for going ahead with it, and that's that. And so they decided, oh, okay, we'll just break this thing and he's not going to penalize us. What
Oh,
is
I
more
think he
concerning
wanted
to me,
to.
though,
Sorry, go ahead.
is it's another social platform that is indebted to Trump.
Yes, right.
And that is the real concerning thing for me. We've got Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Threads, X, Twitter. I'm dead naming it.
Yeah,
Sorry,
sure.
Twitter, and now potentially like TikTok as well. That is the vast majority of our online space that people use
Yeah.
primarily.
Oh, sure, sure.
So that is the most concerning thing to me is
So,
that these platforms are all going to become more like Twitter.
so there's no doubt that Elon Musk is in bed with Trump in one
Yeah,
way or another. I
everyone says
don't
he's
know
the
what.
first lady.
Yeah, I've heard somebody say first lady Elonia,
Yeah.
and I was
Yeah,
like, oh, that's funny. It took me
we
a
better
while
be
to
cautious of
understand.
what we say because we might get shut down for that.
That's a good point. Yeah. Um,
People are being like blocked and having their blue ticks removed and stuff on Twitter because of
really?
that. Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
well, from what I've
Well,
heard.
but so yeah, but I mean that's Elon's little baby there. So,
Yeah.
but so obviously Elon Musk seems to appreciate Trump for whatever reason, and I'm just let it go. I don't know what's going on with Meta. Like I don't know if Meta's necessarily in bed with Trump, or if it's just because what's his face? Mark Zuckerberg comes out and says, "Well, we need more masculine energy in industry today." This being told by some guy who kind of looks like Beaker from the Muppets and made his whole fucking career by developing a method of online stalking. So, yeah, we need more masculine. I'm not going to take that from somebody like that. I'm sorry. You know, maybe that's also just a tiny bit prejudiced, maybe a lot prejudiced.
Just a tiny
But
bit.
fuck me,
That's why
really?
my teeth are like,
But he looks like a sentient toilet brush. And
oh my
so
gosh.
what's going on there? But is he in bed with Trump? I don't know. Is TikTok indebted to Trump? I don't know, because at this point Trump has not saved anything. All he did was promise that he would delay, because that's what I believe the CEO's name is. Xiao Chu, I think is his name, if I remember correctly. And if you're out there, Xiao, tell me, because wouldn't that be great? But I believe he was saying all they were looking for was for somebody to delay enforcement of this law. So, thank you, Valentina. Love you so much,
Valentina
Amy.
appreciates the hot tea.
My listen, Guy's a goof. Anyway, point here is that what was my point? What the hell was I saying? Oh yeah, are these is anybody indebted to Trump exactly? I mean, I think Meta's taking steps on its own, and I don't know that TikTok has exactly called in. Will have any favor to be called in because technically
Are they taking
no
steps on their
execution
own?
has been stayed. Oh, I'm sorry. Say again, Jasmine.
Are they taking steps to do it on their own? I've just been reminded of this post by Matt XIV. What's his name? Matt Bernstein. If anyone's heard of Matt Bernstein, posts those kinds of things on Instagram. Anyway,
All right.
can I actually read this out? Because I'd like to get your thoughts on it.
Sure.
Yeah, read it.
It says, "Dear Mr. Zuck, there oh my gosh, there is nothing gayer than transforming your entire company to please another man." Anyway, that's just a little bit. But this part in 2021,
That's really masculine energy, though, isn't it? Maybe that's all Zuck meant. I'd like some more masculine energy, primarily
oh
behind
no,
me,
I've just
if
thought
I
of
can
like a
get
really
it.
horrible. I can't say it. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
you
gonna type
can.
it in the chat because
No,
if
you
it
can totally say it. Oh, damn.
oh,
Oh, she's gonna get it.
I'm gonna type it. I'm just concerned. I'm concerned.
Okay. I'm so done. All right. Did
I
you see
mean,
that one coming?
it's kind of funny.
It's
I'm
very
hilarious.
funny. I love
Anyway,
it.
I'm going to read this.
Yeah. Go.
In 2021, Meta banned Donald Trump from posting in the wake of January 6th Capitol riot.
Right. I
In
remember.
August 2024, Trump threatened Mark Zuckerberg with life in prison for taking down his content. On Wednesday, November the 27th, Mark dined with newly re-elected Trump at his Mar-a-Lago mansion. In December, Zuckerberg donated $1 million to Trump's inauguration fund. On January
True.
7th, Meta's new policies were revealed. No more fact-checking, relaxed hate speech rules, allowed people to call queer people mentally ill because of religious discourse around transgenderism and homosexuality.
Right.
On January 10th, Meta's diversity programs were shut down. The same day, Meta deleted the trans flag themes from Instagram Messenger. Meta offices also removed tampons from men's bathrooms, which had been put there for trans employees. That timeline is very interesting.
It is.
Yeah.
The contributions, though, you bring up for the inaugural fund,
Yeah,
because wasn't it you who sent me something that
I did.
it was Meta, X, but also I think Oracle, Microsoft, and
Apple as well, I think.
Apple. Yeah. Now Apple is not well known to be particularly conservative.
Yeah.
Microsoft also not. Satya Nadella, as the CEO, has been very much into diversity. I mean, being from India, was very interested in diversity. So I don't know. I mean, and I get, Amazon was another one I believe that contributed. So I don't know if these are industries that are just like, well, we're having an inaugural ball, let's have a good one. Here's some money. I don't think I would have done it.
Calling it
but
bending the knee.
Yeah.
Like bending the knee to the new leadership. I don't know how much is just hearsay or whatnot, but
yeah,
there is hearsay around that dinner that Mark and Donald had.
Yeah.
And about how much Trump would be able to affect laws that would affect Meta and like potentially advertising and things like that. So whether there has been a thinly veiled threat around, well, I can't guarantee that there's not going to be laws that come into place that shoot your freaking fortune in the foot. I don't know, but I can't think of anything that would be a better reason as to why someone who's been seen on freaking floats waving a pride flag and having all these friggin' things and diversity inclusion programs and everything would suddenly switch like that.
I mean, here's a great point again from Valentina, who is apparently much more intelligent than we are. I apologize, folks. May as well just put Valentina on the screen here, but
Totally
says
should.
these right says these tech companies are attempting an oligarchy. They will do anything to get Trump elected and then have huge influence on policy. They will also reap major tax benefits. So just to forgive me, Valentina, I always be like the devil's advocate to you in your canonization. Apparently, I'm going to be the devil's advocate, and I would totally like advocate for a Saint Valentina for what it's worth, Santa Valentina. I'm gonna go for that. So what I was going to say, Trump Trump cannot have a huge influence on policy because Trump is in the executive branch and not the legislative branch. Meta, I believe it was $7 billion. They had $7 billion worth of what's it called, lobbying, to various members of Congress in order to. This is I don't know if this is truth or false. So this may be hearsay as well. But Meta apparently lobbied people in Congress to get the TikTok ban put together in the first place. So does wooing Trump have anything to do with it? I don't know. Reaping tax benefits, yeah, because Jesus, Zuckerberg's got so much money, he needs some sort of conservative, administration to say, look, we're not gonna take even 10% of that, which would probably feed the rest of the nation. So that was all I had to say on that.
Valentina's point, I do think that getting these like tech billionaires to switch around like that, it has to be to do with money. I don't think anything else, like anything else being threatened, is going to
Yeah.
stop them from changing that.
Yeah, agreed.
It all has to do with money. I mean,
Yeah,
it all has to do with money.
yeah.
It's really interesting that they would switch around on morals for money like that.
Yeah. Well, greed. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I just want to make a quick point too. Is that capitalism necessarily? Because capitalism is not just maximizing profits, but ensuring success for your business, which is a different thing.
Wait,
So I'm
what's
just gonna
not?
put that little drop in the. Go ahead.
Did you say that's not capitalism? I missed the first bit. Sorry.
I don't think that's necessarily capitalism. I mean, what would be what is necessarily a cap or what a capitalist action would be like a if you were a laissez-faire capitalist, let's say, you just stepped off the stage of your local production of The Fountainhead. No chuckles there. Valentina, was that funny to you? I'm just gonna ask that. Anyway,
It's gone straight over my head. I don't know.
that's fine. No, that's
sorry.
fine. So if you're like a laissez-faire capitalist, you would want to set your company up for long-term success. And I don't think a short-term change in morals would signal that. Because, if you look at anything Simon Sinek says, the most successful companies are those that have a dedicated why. Why are they doing what they're doing? And they have a reason. And that reason doesn't change. And I think those reasons are very tied to values, to morals, to ethics. It's the ethical reason why a company should exist. And so, anyway, I would contend that that's not capitalism at its best. It's lobbyism at its worst.
That's a whole. You know what? That is an interesting topic I'd like to dive into for an hour at some point.
Oh my gosh!
Not right now, but
no, nobody's gonna watch. They'll be like, I don't want to hear about economic.
oh, that might just be one of our private 3-hour conversations, maybe.
Right. Which is fine.
Oh my god.
Do we need to grab a Do we need to get a poem? Lena,
You know what?
stick you on the hot seat again.
Well,
We're about an hour in.
I have a poem that I wrote just a couple days ago.
Ooh.
But it's I can read it.
Yeah. Do we want to start
Oh.
shutting down? It's we've been on about an
No, I
hour. So
don't. I want to keep talking.
I know it.
Oh my gosh.
So,
All right, let's
but
do
are
it.
we going to? I guess maybe that was the
Yeah, I
point.
have a poem. It's called
All right.
Oh,
I've risen.
Oh,
Let's go. Let's do this.
yeah. Let's
I've
do it.
changed. I've risen, I've fallen. I've risen, I've fallen. All for a rebirth in this game of life. Mistakes have been welcomed and not shunned. Clarity has spoken, and for that, love is a token. I've changed. I've grown. And I've gotten taller than yesterday. And even when I feel lost, I know that I'm not astray because I know my energy is here to stay. I've changed to love me more, to love you more, and to dance on rainbows.
Yeah.
ooh.
I love you so much. Oh my gosh.
I should have said and to tap
Ooh, I
dance
felt
on
that one.
rainbows.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh, Zoe.
You're all
It
beautiful.
was, no,
That's
it blows my
impact.
mind sometimes where how you pull these out.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, I meant to message you, Lino. I
Yeah.
did another poem the other day that I put
Well, can you
together.
share it?
Do you
Oh
want
my
to?
gosh. I'm actually a little bit nervous. I
Share
don't know.
it. Share it. Share it.
Are you
Share it.
going
Share it.
to? Oh, there
Share
it
it.
comes. Here it
Share it.
comes.
God. Okay, hold on. Well, it's very relevant to the podcast. It's called Shared Humanity.
Ooh, yes.
Wait, is it or is that the other naming? Hold on. What did I name it? Let me see. Oh gosh. Okay. No. Your inner compass. So I was thinking a
Ooh, I
lot
love
about
that.
purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And I was inspired to try to create something that didn't rely so much on rhyming. Because I think the one that I did previously, it felt a little bit disconnected and not as personable. I don't know. There was something with it.
Okay.
But I tried to create one that's less on that. But to read it, I have to kind of perform it. I need to be like in that zone.
Yeah, do it.
Oh my gosh. Um, okay, you know what? Before that though, I just want to do a little quick recap on some of the things that we spoke about.
Yeah.
So just so we have this towards the end.
Sure.
Um, Number one, be cautious about fear mongering. Federal law cannot override state law, and executive orders aren't law and they're easily contested. So don't be so nervous if Trump's talking about all these executive orders he's going to put in place. Conservatives do have a slim majority, but not all conservatives are on his side. So just be cautious around how much you feed your mind with that. Some things to do: get passports up to date, get a name change sorted ASAP, stockpile HRT would be a good thing to do as well, just in case. Were there any other things that we really mentioned throughout this? Those are the main ones I
That's all I
heard.
had. Yeah. Did you write those down
Okay,
as we've been
I
going
did.
along? Wow.
Yeah,
That
thank you,
was
Jasmine.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, that's excellent.
I
Thank
also
you.
want to add one to that I didn't write down, and that is stay connected to community.
Ooh,
Stay
good one.
connected,
Yeah.
especially with all of this stuff happening with online platforms and the space that we have to feel safe shrinking. Staying connected with things like this, like streams where you can chat to people who are on like a similar life path, Discord servers, Reddit, like go to places and stay connected with people. And in person, try to find in person groups that you can connect because that is going to be super important, especially over the next 4 years.
Yeah.
Did anyone have anything else to add as a bit of a summary on it?
That's excellent.
No,
Just
not
make sure
me.
you're really checking your values and what's important to you.
Yeah.
And if you don't know this, make a list. What are your values?
Mm.
Yeah,
Good thoughts.
fabulous. All right. Well, that's me half just delaying.
I wondered. Yeah, I was going to ask, but I didn't want to.
Oh, look, it's half delaying, but I did want to make sure that I put that in there.
Yeah.
Shared humanity. We're something the universe is creating, like waves in the ocean, ever pulsating. No, sorry, that's the wrong bloody one. Inner. Oh my god,
That sounded great, though. That was great. I love that.
no, less rhyming, less rhyming. Okay, your inner compass. You will find it in your deepest sorrow, nestled between regrets and wishes unfulfilled. What you were denied in what you longed for. We can't change the past, but we can make damn sure that we do better. Many believe there to be no compass at all, turning to social media, to games, to fleeting sparks of connection, anything that makes them feel something. Perhaps nothing, perhaps a soothing yet suffocating numbness, a distraction from the slow dystopian drift, a retraction from that of our true nature. We can't live without our inner compass. Without it, we cease to exist. To be purposeless is to be without breath, without blood in our veins. We cannot sustain life without it. But where is it? Where is it? Please tell me where it is. I can't live one more day staring into the abyss. Surely it would be hard to miss, yet I keep staring into space as I go through the motions. 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 12 and 5, and here I am at 6 again. When does it end? Breathe. Listen. It exists in the healing of our childhood wounds. It's what we wish no one else to endure. It's what we hope to grow in the world. It's not money, not houses, not cars. It's grounded in love, in truth, in peace, and pieces of wishes and dreams, immature, out of reach, impractical, each a hole in our compass that is, in fact, whole. They say love thy neighbor, but when hearts collide and when we bridge the divide, how do we wish to feel? How do you want others to feel? What seeds do you wish to grow? The clues are everywhere, hidden in plain sight, shrouded by expectation, buried beneath a world that sells profit over purpose. You already know what your purpose is. Breathe. Listen. When you peel back the layers, when you allow yourself to see it, it'll feel silly. Like rediscovering a heartbeat that you thought you'd lost, for it has been there the whole time.
Yeah.
Snaps. That
I
was
love
amazing.
that. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
That was
Yes,
superb.
I love it.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm gonna
Thank you.
I feel
I
like a
definitely
complete.
feel it. I definitely felt it. And
Yeah.
it's just it's unity, really. It's unity, and it's equality, and it's in, I mean, in the deepest of it all, in the most profound way, it's true love. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was amazing. It was really, really good.
Thank
It
you.
makes me feel like a complete idiot too.
No, not at all.
Shared, like,
No, no. Because guess
Wait,
what?
why?
You check it out,
I've got
Amethyst.
it's some fucking constitutional law, and you both have like these beautiful poems about humanity, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna bitch and moan for an hour. Oh, you guys are really
No.
positive. Dang it.
Yeah, but without you and without your mind, we all wouldn't be here together. And it takes your mind to create this incredible flow that we have. So, I mean, I'm
It
really
takes
blessed to
Lena
have
to
your energy
inspire
here.
me to even look at poetry.
Wait, say again, Jasmine?
I'd never done any poetry before, and hearing Lino do his poetry is what inspired me to get into this. I'm loving it. It
That's
feels like
amazing.
such a beautiful creative expression. Oh,
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. And I mean, the both you ladies inspire me to just keep going and keep learning and keep growing in ways that I really didn't imagine that I could grow. And that's why I look forward to this every Monday.
Yeah.
And I know that we're touching other people's lives and other people's hearts as well. And we're here with the purpose and with the mission. And we're just going to keep doing this because it's coming from our authentic vibrational signature.
It is 100%.
yeah.
Well, I value the both of you more than I can really explain. So I think, Jasmine, you already know, but Lino, if you haven't heard, like, that's for
Oh,
sure.
thank you.
The three of us are an
The
interesting.
Three Musketeers.
Can we be Mouseketeers? I just want to
Three
get that.
pigs in a
Sure.
podcast.
Three, but we can be pigs in a poke. That works too.
Yeah.
3 kittens in a litter. No.
Jasmine's like, what? All right.
Did
All
you
right.
think I said something different than what I said, or was that another thing?
What? 3 pigs in a
Did you
poke?
hear the three peas in a podcast?
No. That one's awesome. 3 peas in a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. 3 P's in the podcast.
I love that.
Oh my gosh, we're changing our name now.
Oh, we're changing it.
I
Three
know.
P's in a
Harmony.
podcast. It's changed.
I do like that. Oh
That's
my
really
gosh.
good.
I mean, if TikTok can change their mind under 24 hours, we could change our mind with our
Oh my
title.
gosh, yeah, easily. Easily. So
Oh my gosh, wait, that actually does have the vibes of harmony and humanity that we spoke about too.
it,
Like we're
it
all in a
does.
pod together. Oh my gosh.
Well, that could
Three
be the
pieces.
official title, and then just have Harmony Humanity as a
Yeah,
subtitle underneath it.
it's a good one. It's a good one.
Surely that's
I
already a
I would
thing.
rather do it the other way around just because we've already made a bunch of accounts, but we'll figure it out. I think it's an awesome it
Harmony
is an awesome
Humanity,
thing.
where we're
Oh,
three
someone's thought
P's
of
in the
it.
podcast. We could do that.
Someone's thought of it. Two peas in a podcast.
That's it's not as good as it could be. They needed another person, but
They did need another person.
right.
So 2p for whatever, that's like 2p or not 2p. I
Right.
don't know. Anyway, does everyone really need to hear this? I don't know. This is what we usually do once we end stream is we just talk bullshit.
Right. Right. Well,
Maybe
so
people would enjoy that. I don't know.
I'm sure they
they
would.
might. Yeah, I know. And we've I know we've talked about we should have outtakes or something, but
That'd be excellent.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
Well, let me go ahead and do the outro because I
Talk
mean,
about really interesting things. We get on
oh
some
yeah,
really interesting topics after this. I'm like, shit,
that's
we
for
should be
sure.
recording.
That's for sure. I
Oh,
know. It was funny when we first started this. We're like, do you think we could kill 30 minutes? Would we be able to talk for 30 minutes?
Of course.
And
would we be able
they're
to
like,
talk for under an hour?
that's the better question. Yes.
Mhm.
So, so on that note, we certainly could talk about all of this for hours, but we're going to end it right here.
I think
So,
that's pretty obvious.
yeah. If you have any requests for future topics, we'd love it if you let us know by leaving a comment in the comment section below, like you do. We might talk about it coming up, and we would totally give you the shout out for the idea, because it's pretty fun. So, thanks to all of the listeners for joining in on this conversation. We think you're pretty cool for wanting to focus on all of our shared humanity, like Jasmine's poem. So we're sending you all lots of love, and we'll see you
Yeah.
next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.